Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, which should run out to you in 3 segments or 4 segments. 24 minutes, 11 minutes, 11 minutes, 11 minutes. So those of you that want to set your PVRs or want to be able to make a cup of coffee, set your alarms, that's how we're going. 24 minutes, 11, 11, 11. There have been problems, haven't there, left getting this, trying to fit in between racing on a Monday night. It's a nightmare. But this is what we're told by Teletrack.
Yeah, well, they've been told it a few times and it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
So listen, let the public know they're the times. You can set your kettle, as he said, and let's hope to get it right this time.
Okay, we're going to go straight into it. We've got some fantastic racing to show you. We've got lots of winners to produce for you. And we're going to have some fun because we're doing emails later on. And that should be fun. There are some very interesting and contentious emails out there. So those of you that don't want to watch, please go home to bed early. Firstly, 3 to follow. Well, after we've done this show next week, we will be straight to Johannesburg to go and play golf with Gary Player. Any of you who haven't booked, get hold of Tom Callahan. It's a great event on the Tuesday before the National 2-year-old sale, and then Thursday and Friday, the National 2-year-old sale. But let's go and have a look at our 3 to follow.
Right, the first one we're going to look at is an unraced horse, I think, from the Alec Laird stable. You can see it. I think it's the Chris Gerber colours, the white face. It's a horse called Steel Wing by Windrush, and for all intents and purposes it looked like a match race if the betting was anything to go by between Three Wishes and Captain's Chronicle, and these two certainly have the race to themselves early. The white face is your eventual winner, Three Wishes, and in the
well, you can't even see him, Laff. He's second last on the right hand side of your screen, just gone out of picture.
That's Steel Wing.
Just watch this horse, Steel Wing. This is obviously a good horse because firstly, you can't win on the outside of Scottsville. Lots of horses have shown that that's an impossibility. But Steel Wing now, he's been scrubbed the whole way, just been pushed along to keep himself in the picture. But when he pulls him out, Stewie Randolph, if he gets a smack or two here, I think he wins it. But he just cuddled him along, give him a tap down the neck. Here he is just moving up quietly. The two in the inside are fighting it out.
Yeah, Three Wishes, Captain's Chronicle. And looks like all intentions it's going to be an easy win for the Delpesh Mount. But suddenly, here's Stewie Randolph arriving on this horse. And it's a very, very, very good run by the runner-up.
Well, he's lugged in the whole way. And as first-timers often do, they're a bit green and probably not that easy to ride. But the jury's out, and we will see what happens to Steel Wing next time. Looks like a blinder to us. We'll move on to the next one. Jet on Fire. Now, the small stables don't often get Jet Masters, but here, Dennis Bosch got one, and geez, he produced a nice horse. This horse looks like a decent horse.
This is a very, very good performance because there's a lot of talk for Breeders' Cup and for Royal Roy. They look like two horses that were going to be there. A couple of others found smidgens of support. But this horse jumped out the gate. He's by Jet Master. He's owned by Terry Riley, who was a Celtic football youngster. So it's nice to see he's got another good one. They had these Silk Stamps had a Group 1 winner. Do you remember the little Cahal filly, the little grey?
Yeah, the grey Cahal filly. But he's a nice guy as well, Terry.
Yeah, Terry, great guy.
They deserve a horse like this, and I hope it goes on for them because this absolutely doddled him. Beautifully produced by Dennis Bosch for the race. There was money for it. And my goodness, did it win well. Watch it taken away from him.
Yeah, at the 400 now, they shake it up. And everyone's expecting them to come because there was money for Earl of Derby, an unraced horse from the Alec Laird stable, who runs second, runs a very good debut. But look at this winner.
Yeah, he just absolutely...
When he hits it...
He gets given a wake-up call here and puts them all to bed. Earl of Derby, certainly worth having a look at. Alec Laird stepped out a couple. This now gets a ride from here to the finish and runs second, but I like the look of this horse.
This is a very good horse. Very good horse. Jet on Fire, remember the name.
Right, we're going to move on and have a look at the next one, which is Close the Gap. We went to Turfentine. Ormond Ferraris was thought to have a very good day at Turfentine. This was on Sunday, and This might be all right.
Have a look at Trap 3. Your winner comes out at Trap 3. There's the horse we've shown you, who's the horse in Oppenheimer Silks. But Trap 3 is your favorite. Julius Mariba nearly comes off.
Yeah, how did he stay on? He's lost his iron, now he puts his foot back in the iron. He gets the horse nicely balanced. It was a wonderful ride from young Julius. He's a good rider, Julius.
Yeah, very good rider.
I think he's a boy who's got wonderful hands. Him and Dr. Lamberti, they're two of the young
young guns.
guys that are coming through the ranks, and I like them both. I think they're both going to be good riders.
Yeah, Julius rides a very good race because this is the unraced of the raced horses. This had, I thought, the best form and looked the horse to win. But you can see just off them 4 off the right in the famous Oppenheimer Silks. Looks a big horse, just been nudged along here by Naresh Jaglal. Now it runs in behind the horse in white, and it puts in a bold effort for his debut run because the winner had form to win a race, and the winner's got a lot of speed.
Yeah, the winner ends up going on and quickens up well. Clinton Binder's horses have come well, and chased to the line by this one. And I think that over a bit more ground, this Fort Wood filly will do very much better. She certainly looks like she needs a lot of ground.
Yeah, very good run. Close the gap, closing the gap right down to about a head, and keep an eye on that. Close the gap.
Right, we're going to go and have a look at, after Close the Gap, we're going to go and have a look at the Gold Cup 2013 Gold Cup as our blast from the past.
Yeah, James, I believe it was put together a nice package like we did for the Vodacom Durban July. They've done one for the Gold Cup. Looks
yeah, and then from next week, just talking about blast from the past, from next week we're going to be showing some famous races from the past. We think it's, we've had enough of just showing the races that are run.
Show the legends.
We're going to show the legends, and it should be fun.
Long distance and Grade 1 racing is at its prime today. The Gold Cup is always a spectacular way to end off the Durban race season. This year, you stand a chance to win a brand new Ford Figo. Let's hope the draw is in your favour.
I'm having a fantastic day. We just came to support the Chatswood Rotary Child Welfare. We're here with Myers Chetty at his table with Simone aboard. We're just having fun. My friend here, Tommy, is with me, and I'm going to be backing Patriotic Rebel.
Tell us a bit about your charity.
Our charity is the Rotary Club of Chatsworth. We have been in operation for the past 25 years, and the Gold Cup is one of our annual major fundraising events.
Tell us a bit about your charity and what the Gold Cup means for you.
Okay, Phoenix Child Welfare is one of the oldest welfare organizations in the country. We rely a lot on public funding, so this is a fundraising drive, and we look forward to the support of patrons. It helps us to offer services, much needed services like adoption, foster care, and looking after the interests of children in need.
Tell us a bit about your charity and what the Gold Cup means to you.
Okay, we are Rotary. We're a non-profit organization. We're based in Chatsworth. We do a lot of community-based projects. We provide free lunches for the school. We've got a wellness center that we actually provide dialysis to people that cannot afford it. So fundraising is an integral part of it, and Gold Cup is one of those events that we actually raise tickets. We sell to the public, and we hope to make money in that respect. So Rotary is amazing. It's like 34,000 clubs worldwide, and we're proud to be associated with them.
wonderful. We're having a really good time. We're enjoying ourselves. It's the first day at the race course, so yeah, it's really nice.
It's a great day. It's wonderful, beautiful weather. What more can we ask for?
And you excited for this race?
No, definitely. We've got a horse in this race, so heart is pumping at the moment, definitely.
We hope that our horses come in for the main race.
Who are you betting on?
Going for Shogunner. Yeah, he's going to be the one that runs in. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
100%, it's amazing.
Well, we're looking at number 11, which is Calcutta, but I also fancy Blake as well.
If she doesn't come back, I'll be your substitute. Whenever you want me, don't you know I'll be your substitute. Whenever you need me, each day by.
Are you enjoying the atmosphere here?
Magic, very much so, magic.
And you winning anything?
I've lost a few, I've won a few so far, so far it's going good. Good company, good friends, I'm okay.
Very great at the moment. I am very excited at this moment. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And they racing away. S'il vous plaît missed the kick about 2 lengths as the starter said go. Right there's Wagner in the early stages. Seal trying to overcome a draw. Jeppy's Reef and Shogunner Calcutta. Maasai Warrior closest to the commentary boxes, only 2 lengths off them. Calcutta, the red cap, sneaks through at the rail, 4 lengths off them. They greet the judge and crowd, and Wagner stretched away by 2. Maasai Warrior slips onto the paint in second, followed through Jeppy's Reef, and Blake gets 2 lengths closer. Seals 1 off the paint after that wide draw. Dubai, Gina and Shogunner as they go out of view and start to jostle for position behind the tote board. Paddy O'Reilly, Patriotic Rebel further back in the running, scoop the pool. I can tell you they certainly stretched out. Night to Remember's 13 lengths off the tempo. Then we drop back to Sage Throne, Adobe Pink amongst the back rank, River crossing the trailer. Settling into stride, and Wagner setting his own tempo, and it's a good tempo by 3. Maasai Warriors alone second, the orange, 3 lengths away Blake. The Blue Silks of Jeppy's Reef is 4th, 10 lengths off the leader. Red Silks of Seal, then comes Calcutta. Shogunner, Dubai, Gina. Night to Remember the grey, mid-division but 13 lengths off the speed. Sage Thrones on the inside, scoop the pool. S'il vous plaît next call, Paddy O'Reilly. They must be a dozen lengths off the leaders. Canterbury Tail dropping back through the field. Then we find Gold Onyx, ridden cold, must be 14, 15 lengths off them. River Crossing is the trailer. Wagner has the call in the Gold Cup, leads by 2.5. Maasai Warriors second. They're going to start to get a little bit closer as Wagner just seems to steady the ship in front. Shogunner's on the prowl, 3 lengths off the leader's Seal, Jeppy's Reef. Night to Remember gets 2 lengths closer, goes past Calcutta. Calcutta had to be taken up for a stride or two there as they really slam on the brakes up front. Patriotic Rebel starting to get closer. In behind these, Dubai Gina. Paddy O'Reilly's further back in the running. Cebu plays the black cap on the right-hand side. Canterbury Tail, Sage Throne, Adobe Ping, Scoop the Pool. On the outside, Patriotic Rebel, Green Body, got the white blinkers on. They now settle down and go towards the 700, and Wagner just loaded up by 3 parts of a length. Show Gunner sharpened up in second. Maasai Warrior, Night to Remember, they're all making their moves. Blake sits patiently, Cebu Play loops them. Night to Remember's the grey, Seals behind these runners, Sage Throne. Top of the lane, Canterbury Tail also gets a lot closer. Cebu Play and Night to Remember at the 400 metre marker. Shogunner towards the inside, Blake. Canterbury Tail looks to run on, Sage Throne's looking for a gap. Calcutta's on the inside, Night to Remember, Canterbury Tail, Maasai Warriors running on, but it's Jeppy's Reef, Night to Remember, Jeppy's Reef in front, Jeppy's Reef gonna win it, Jeppy's Reef won it, seconds close, maybe Canterbury Tail, Maasai Warrior, Night to Remember behind these.
What a wonderful way to end off the day. Trainer Mike Bass won the day with Jeppy's Reef. What a beautiful way to end the Durban race season. Congratulations, this is a great win for you. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel great. You know, it's been a long season, and hopefully I was looking to get a grade 1, but I didn't have many chances, and I don't know whether I thought I could win today, but you know, it's a relief to have won one, and always nice to win a Group 1. Great feeling. Thank you.
Well, great winners, and it was nice to take their cash at the Wild Coast.
Yeah, wonderful for Walter. You know, Mike Bass always brings up the Group 1s, and just when you think he's going a bit quiet, he says, hello, I'll take that one home. But wonderful for everyone involved, a great win.
Yeah, I think that the season was a triumph for Gold Circle, and certainly the best racing we've seen, and we look forward to some more of it. Let's move on, and we're going to have a look at the Plum of the Week.
To make up, that's so, at so. Quintella's between runners, 400 metres to go, and Berlinetta now looks on the inside, puts her head in front, trying to close in Advance Warning. Kigai to the outside, Zemfira. Inside the 200, Berlinetta, Advance Warning looks to put on the pressure, but it's Berlinetta who goes for home, clear by a length and a half. Advance Warning's coming out second best, and another one race over. Berlinetta strides away full of fire. Advance Warning second, then came Kigai. That's so, Atso, and Two-Tone Rocker.
Well, best you could get with your local bucket shop, bookmaker, whatever you wanted to have a bet with, was even money, 9 to 10. 14 to 10 within the bet, paid R2 on the tote for a win. Yeah. It looked like a blinder, but it was drawn 1. Everyone said drawn 1, Clarewood can't win.
Can't win, it won by lengths.
Won by lengths, but it run in a Group 1 the time before, was drawn 15 out of 16 or whatever in the Group 1. It looked like an absolute penalty.
Correct.
And there you go, 14 to 10 with Interbet. So if you ever want to have a bet, you better get an Interbet account. And just Johnny Stark, that hard-working Johnny Stark, you know, he gives us the information. Anytime we get a hold of him in the office, grafting, he's a fantastic guy. And I tell you, he's worked hard to get this business going.
Oh, he's done well. It's a wonderful business.
Yeah, so let's go and have a look at current affairs.
Attending.
Right, welcome to Current Affairs, another edition, and we're going to only have one race to show you this week, and it's a very, very interesting race. It's the Nassau Stakes. It's a Group 1 race run at Goodwood, and you can see what happens sometimes to champion jockeys. Let's have a look at the race. This is the Nassau Stakes on Saturday from Goodwood.
poised with Samail, and Moment in Time making up the second wave. Sarja next from Integral. Sky Lantern pulled towards the centre of the field. Hot Snaps now being pushed along towards the inside. Beatrice Aurora improves, going okay. Win Silly comes next. Just the Judge still quietly ridden. Ambivalent moving to Just Pretending. Sarja coming there very strongly, shadowed by Sky Lantern, who now is travelling well. Integral behind them. Win Silly with a run, trying to hold Sky Lantern into the pocket. Sarja with Just Pretending. Sky Lantern all of a sudden leads it out. Win Silly, and right down the outside, Thistlebird gathering momentum, and Sky Lantern's imprisoned in a pocket. It's Sarja in the blue. Win Silly, Thistlebird, Sky Lantern trying to thread the needle, and Richard Hughes' luck has finally run out at Goodwood this week. It's Thistlebird in the yellow cap. Win Silly on the far side, driven out. Win Silly, Thistlebird at the line. Win Silly for a shot. Win Silly for William Buick and John Gosden. In the second place, Thistlebird. Third, Sarja.
Well, there we go. John Gosden doing it again there with William Buick. And as the commentator said, Richard Hughes' luck has run out. He tried to make the horse see the trip out, James, and caught in, as he said, caught in prison.
Well, it shows you, because he's going well enough to win it,
Yes.
and he doesn't want to go because there's the first crack that she goes at 1.25 miles. And you can see what's ticking in his head. He's going thinking, I'll wait a little longer, I'll wait a little longer. They run up on his outside and they make sure he doesn't get out. Perfect riding, brilliant riding from the two guys on his outside, but really asleep.
Cost him.
I would thought that Richard Hughes will be very, very disappointed with that ride. I know that he had a lot to say in the sort of aftermath about that. He didn't know that he would have won it anyway, and you know,
Here goes 10.
Yeah, there are all sorts of reasons why I don't believe that that's right. I think if he had gone when he had the gap, it would have been race over. Anyway.
Yeah. Let's go. We've got time to go for a break now. Let's go and have that break. Yeah, there we go. So the mighty Richard Hughes has got it wrong. James, nothing really happening around the country.
But I want to ask you, back in 1973, on this date, well, the 4th of August, 73, monumentous beating was given to the greatest racehorse at the time. Do you know what it was?
No.
Shall we ask the viewers if they know what it was?
Ask the viewers and we can tell them later.
We'll tell them after we've had Andrew Bond's insert. We're going to have an insert with Andrew Bond, whereby he's going to show us what happened at the Racing Masters. Okay?
That should be very, very... It was a fun day. Everyone got together, a few drinks.
Fun day. Were you only there for a day?
Fun day, 3 times.
3 times, okay?
Yeah.
Because all I can tell you is I found a 4-ball in front of me on the last day. I'm trying to win a green jacket for the team, okay?
Yes.
For us. I found a 4-ball in front of us. I've never seen more drunk people in my life that couldn't hit the ball. Jeez, it was pathetic. It was
Did
really
you
bad.
look behind you? It
They
was the
took
same
about-
behind you,
they
James.
they took about 5.5 hours to play, and they were finished 2.5 holes behind. But we were, listen, this is a family show, no name, no packrel. We just move on from that. That's what happened. Andrew Bond's insert is coming up now.
The Wild Coast Sun Racing Masters has been going since 1994, when it was played at the Mabatu Sun. The first ever winner was Russell Purchase, now a resident in Singapore. Chirping is an absolute prerequisite.
Christopher Goosen is the slowest player. I've seen the QE2 turn quicker.
Well, for those of you who don't know Rob Dalton, he is the man that allowed this to take place at the Wild Coast Sun. Gary Waterson with a rather agricultural swing. Mike de Kock, having plonked one in the water, decides there's only one solution. Let's drop in the drop zone. A good place to drop. Right onto the green with Sean Terry in the background. And Kevin Shea, having duffed his 7-iron, decides to take a lesson from Mike de Kock. We'll see the shot in due course. Mr. Seville. And here it is. A professional swing, followed by the comment, I made you $1 millionaire, Shay. Larry Simons receives his club back from the caddy as Mike de Kock takes guard with no ball. Now it's Sean Terry's turn. He provided Mike de Kock with the most opposition during the course of this term and hits an absolute cracker about 10 meters from the pin. Now it's the Masters' turn. But alas, this particular ball is going to end up in the sand. Larry Southwood, he's looking for the lead in this tournament, having finished second last year. Mike de Kock A brilliant shot out the bunker, but a bit of a tester coming back. Larry Southwood finishing up just within striking distance for a good par. Out at sea, the waves are huge and not really noticeable to the eye until you really have a good look. Jimbo Goodman, he puts it in the hole. The waves keep on rolling, and Larry has missed a vital putt. But this one goes in comfortably, and the sea keeps on pounding. Raymond Danielson, a lovely swing, and Michael Shea, the most perfect shape of any shot hit all day. No more than 2 to 3 meters away from the pin. Delighted is Michael Shea. And then Jono, no, not so good this time. Matthew de Kock, not his best swing. He plays a for 5 handicap. And the Wild Coast keeps on rolling. And whilst Michael Shea and his 4-ball conclude the par 3 across the ravine, it's the turn of Robbie Hill to take guard. Fly ball, fly ball, fly ball. Is it going to be far enough? I think the body language tells the story. Graham Costa, a beast of a man, hits the ball with contemptuous ease. Wayne Scrooby battling with a little bit of orthopedic prosthetic insertion, nothing that a Voltaren or Cataflan can't help, and a very fine shot, not quite on the green. And Mark Gullen hits the near perfect shot, closest to the pin. Absolutely delighted. Robbie Hill, has he borrowed enough? Oh, perhaps too much. Oh, this one goes the other way. And the serenity of the Fish Eagle prevails above. As Mark Gullen goes for his birdie. No good, son. No good, son. Graham Costa, solid as the Rock of Gibraltar. Or should I say Gray's Inn. Robbie Hill, oh, so stiff, lips out. Absolute disgust, but a cheerful smile, as always, from Robbie Hill. And now, the 18th hole. Across the river, Robbie Hill. Has he got enough legs to get across? Alas, no. It's a splish-splash. As Michael Shea, Raymond Danielson, Matthew de Kock and Jono bid farewell to the 18th hole. Bit of shaky camera work, but the end result is good. Mark Gullen from the trees, not making much progress after a fantastic 16th. What have you got in there, Mama? She's got a bit of a sore stomach having to watch Graham Costa not quite make the green. But for the 3rd time, he manages to get almost onto the green and a long way back. Mark Gullen not shaping up too well. And Wayne's putt not quite finding the mark as well. The horses on their way back from the ride tells you what the Wild Coast is all about. Tranquility, beauty, and really a place where you can relax. Is this putt going to go in? Oh, stiff yet again. And that's the 18th hole for Wayne Scrooby and his team. A great time had by all. Mark Gullen, Graham Costa. And who's the other guy? Well, it's Bugs Wilson after a phenomenal drive across the water. Billy Basson, Murin Sook. And then it's the inimitable Paul Lafferty's 4-ball, 5-ball, 6-ball, Holly in attendance, so too Trevor Ferree. Rickieson looking for trouble. And please believe me, the funniest man on the course. Derek Martin. Does he make it across the water? Only just. Clive, your poet, just hits it across the water. but he's taking enormous strain with the gout. Phil Giorgio, not the most orthodox swing you'll ever see. Makes it well across the water. And then, I'm here, Paul Lafferty. A massive drive, probably his best of the day. And Holly making sure that Paul stays on the straight and narrow. Phil Giorgio approaching the 18th green. Not quite. Laff now has to start up his club, a bit like a lawnmower or a tree fella. Fantastic shot, but just slightly short in the sand. He'll get out of that easily. Derek the King Martin, will he make it on for 3? Methinks not. Laff, a perler out of the sand, just a little bit past, running on nicely. And now, in fast motion, the guys bid farewell to the 18th hole. Well done, guys. During the course of next week's program on Winning Ways, we'll show you the outcome of day 2, the final day of the Wild Coast Racing Masters. And of course, in alphabetical order, some of the scores that were posted on day number 1. Some very, very high scores, 41 being the leading one. For tonight, we bid you farewell from the beautiful Wild Coast Resort and take a look at the players warming up for day number 2.
Right, welcome back. There we go. A wonderful bit of humour and a bit of golf, and great to see all elements, especially the guys who flew up from Cape Town, from all around the country. It's certainly getting bigger every year, and James, a good laugh.
That was a fabulous time, absolutely fabulous time. It's a great sort of letdown after the big season. The guys have been tense, wanting to kill each other. Well, they wanted to kill some people on the golf course. It was just great fun. A lot of them looked like they were killing snakes the way they were singing.
Yeah.
Just an answer to the quiz,
Yes.
question that we
20
had.
years ago, James.
1973, 73,
Oh, 73.
83, 93, 2003,
30.
2000, 40 years ago.
Okay, 40.
40 years ago, the great Secretariat ran against older horses for the first time in the Whitney, and he got beaten by Alan Jerkins' Onion. Do you know what price Secretariat was?
No.
1 to 10.
And Alan Jerkins produced Onion.
Alan Jerkins produced Onion. And Alan Jerkins was a very, very interesting man. He was a big, tall, strong guy who was a polo player. I knew him quite well. And he was a very, very good trainer indeed. And he always produced something that caused a bit of an upset. He wasn't scared to run his horses in the best company. And he ended up getting in the Hall of Fame.
I don't know if many people know that the word upset actually was the name of a horse. I think it beat Lord of War.
Yeah.
That's where it came from. The biggest upset was when Upset beat Lord of War, and the name stuck, and it's gone all the way through. That's very, very interesting, James. Anything else to add? There wasn't much racing news.
No, we're going to move straight on and go to your call, where we're going to have a look at some very interesting emails.
Second position, but Military Roses giving them a bath. That's one of the biggest millions I've ever seen. Graceful Anna, the leader. Graceful Anna. Graceful Anna.
Well, you're actually going to come to Paul. He's going to kick off the batting here because he's Gary Kirsten. So
Yeah, I'm Gary Kirsten. I'm going to open the batting. And the first email we've got is from George Barnes. George is a regular man for writing in, and he's come for some interesting thing. And his article's called Prices. I'm going to read it to you, and James and I'll tell you what it's about. I think it's disgusting.
Well, I don't think you can read this completely, but just say the gist of it, Laff.
Right,
we know
the
what
gist
we
of
could
it.
get into trouble for this.
Correct. The gist of it is that Shay Shay in England is 5-2 and 3-1, but Betting World have it at 15-10. Now he says this is not on. Many times, James, you get they're across to a race where we've got a South African interest, and it's shorter here, and you hear the commentators there saying, well, you know, the 4-1 favourite or the 4-1 chance. And
well, this horse was 5-2 and 3-1 throughout,
yes.
And he was much shorter here in South Africa, which is not really right because, you know, we've had these exchanges banned, okay, so we can't bet on the exchanges.
That's right.
And basically it's a closed shop here. So, you know, you've got to bet it. We all want to have an interest in Shay Shay. He's our champion and this and then the other. But why should we be taking 50% or 40% less here because he's a South African horse? Surely the bookmakers have the wherewithal to be able to bet anywhere. They're able to bet and lay off because they've got licenses to do that. We not, as a normal punter, and I think George is absolutely right. This is,
give us the right odds.
Yeah, this is not right. And maybe the people out there, the Bookmakers Association, I know that the Natal Bookmakers Association have said for years that they will come on the show, but we've never had them come on.
No, they've told me they're always available. Maybe I think it's a good idea we rope some of them in and they can defend their actions on this because we've got to get the right odds. When you're having a bet, especially if you're following a horse wherever he is in the world and they're giving you 40% less, it's just not right.
Okay, well, next one is from Joe Jacobs. He's a regular contributor as well, and obviously enjoys the show because he's frustrated with the information displayed at the bottom of the Teletrack screen, which is the DSTV screen, which shows that our show is going out last week at 2000 hours. Well, at 2200 hours, it hadn't gone out yet. And understand that this is a problem that we have no control over.
We're trying to sort it out, and we have sponsors to talk to. It's a hell of an issue. We want to get it right, and let's hope we can sort it out sooner rather than later. He goes on to say his coverage of the Royal Ascot wasn't
he
good.
was not pleased with the coverage of Royal Ascot. Now, the problem is that the coverage of Royal Ascot on Teletrack irritated a lot of punters. But the coverage of Royal Ascot on 2206 on the DSTV channel where they showed it was absolutely outstanding. And unfortunately, what should have happened was that Teletrack should let people know that they can watch the full and complete coverage on 206.
James,
I don't think it's going to affect the betting.
Conversely, let's up our game.
Yeah.
You know, we're international players. The people want to see our horse. We had Shay Shay running. Shay Shay got beaten because probably the horse on the outside of the course had the better ground. People want to there. We had presenters on the ground. Myself and Andrew Bond went there. It cost money, but we've got to step up. Whether it's Dubai, whether it's Singapore, whether it's Hong Kong, and there's South African horses racing, get the Teletrack presence there. That's my opinion, James.
Well, they were there, and hopefully we can start intermingling with these other channels and get things working properly.
Okay, the next one I've got is one where they've addressed it to you, and they said that basically, I'm just getting the gist of it because it's a long one, that presenters out there aren't, well, they're handcuffed. They're not saying what they feel. And James, they said that, this guy said that he thinks it's about time that these guys don't make comments that say, no, sorry, I can't say that because it's going to offend the powers that be. And let's rather get them coming out there, telling what is factual and true. What's your take on that, James?
Yeah, listen, this is a perennial problem with horse racing. Horse racing seems to have, and the powers in charge of horse racing seem to have this opinion that you can't speak your mind, because if you speak your mind, it's bad for the sport. Well, I think that it's worse for the sport to know that people are muzzled than for them to be able to speak their mind. There are a lot of very, very bright people that come on television that know the industry inside out, that have a very good opinion and idea of what should be said and what shouldn't be said. And because they say something a little contentious, they're not allowed to say it. I don't believe that that's right in any form of any life. Okay, you've got to be able to speak your mind. If you say something that is derogatory to the point that it might be suable in court, well, then take the consequences. You know, and I'm very happy to, as a presenter on Winning Ways, to be able to say what I think and take the consequences. Because I don't believe at any stage in the 5 years we've done Winning Ways, we have said anything that is suable in court. We have said a lot of contentious things, which might have upset a lot of people.
Which makes for good TV. You know, John McCurrick's done it all his life. John McCurrick goes out there and tells it what it's like. And it's not having to go at all the bosses, but it's all having, this letter having to go to all the presenters and saying, guys, Don't feel muzzled.
Well,
Go
maybe
to-
the people that are controlling the presenters, because it might not be the presenters. Maybe presenters want to say something. But anyway, let's move on to
Okay.
Ian Rice. And Ian's from the Western Cape. I don't know why he's proud to put Western Cape behind his name, because I wouldn't be. Another mountain goat. Enjoy the show. Probably the only one where the punter can be heard. Well, I don't know. The punter can be heard everywhere. 4 issues which I'd like to respond. Dress code. Many owners and some trainers leading the horse look like they've just got out of bed. Reminds me of the unmade waterbed. Faded jeans, tacky shirts, tacky tidy. You wouldn't like that.
Tacky's
Rob
expensive,
sells
yeah.
a lot of these things. Is this the image one to prepare? It's a pity these people can't follow the examples of Alan Creef, Michael Roberts, who dress smartly.
James, it's a good point, and I know Gold Circle have brought it up a couple of times, saying, guys, let's just try and get it right, especially if we're trying to show our pictures all over the world, and a lot of people have got dress codes, it's right through Asia, right through Europe, there are dress codes. We don't want to shackle people to such a degree that you can't come racing, but if you're training a horse or leading in a winner, try and be presentable. So point one, valid point.
Okay, second point, and I think this is a valid point. Why is it that in certain centres the favourite is almost always loaded last in the stalls? This is an unfair advantage. It is understood that problem horses are usually loaded last, but this happens too often to be a coincidence. Do you see this happening?
Well, I haven't sat and looked at the records, but I think you're probably right. I think Ian Rice has looked at it and seen the favourites going in last. We've got to take that up with the starter and say, what is going on? Is it the case, James? Have you noticed?
Yeah, I definitely think that there is a bias towards the favourite horses going in, and certainly the hot favourites very often go in last. Yeah. Time between races. Is there any reason why, except Kimberley, there's such long gaps between races? Seems a minimum 35 minutes for races, taking just over a minute to complete. It's understood that scheduling has to consider races being screened elsewhere, even major overseas meetings. The norm is 30 minutes, even for jump racing. Well, I think this is the problem. He's hit it on the head.
Gold Cup Day, James, 50 minutes.
There is scheduling for other race meetings now.
Yeah, but James, 50 minutes. I don't know what their justification was. Maybe they can say, well, but on Gold Cup Day, when I was coming out to run in the Phillies
Laff,
feature,
we've said this all along. We've said that Gold Cup, July, the big four meetings, the Summer Cup, the Met, they should be stand-alone meetings on Teletrack. They should have proper presentation. They should be run from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock or whatever time it is as a standalone meeting. They'd make a lot more money than they're making betting on Catterick Bridge and Fontwell. And I can tell you, he's absolutely right. There's no reason for 35 minutes ever. But the problem is to fit in the other races and give people a chance to bet. That's what everyone is being dragged around by the betting.
Yeah, I did
factor.
have a meeting with John Stewart, who's now taken over, and John's very forward thinker. He wants to get things sorted out. I was very pleased with what came out of the meeting with John Stewart, and he wants to jack all these things up. That our Teletrack show, our shop window, is very good, and I'm pleased that John's on board, and I like his ideas. The fourth point, distance of races, James.
Yeah, why is the vast majority of our races in South Africa seem to be between 1,000 and 1,600, 2,000 metres described as a marathon? Again, watching overseas flat racing, regularly see races over 3,002 and further.
Here.
Many issues you'd like to, rather than quality and professionalism and Teletrack, I'd like to raise, but I'll leave it till next time. Well, thanks, Ian, because we don't
James,
have
just
time.
distance of races, I agree with him. Put the races on, people will fill them. Everything is a sprint, James. He's
Absolutely.
100% right. Up to a mile. And where are all our big races? Where are they worldwide? Where are the big races?
Mile and a quarter upwards.
Mile and a quarter, 2 miles in Australia. I agree with you. Very good email, Ian.
Thank you very much, Ian. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, another one's just a thank you here from Colin Aitken. As you all know, Colin Aitken been involved with Gold Circle for years. He was very instrumental in getting the powers that be involved with the Dundee July, and he wanted to thank us for the coverage and everything that came out of it. Thanks very much for the letter, Colin. Pleased to have it.
Yeah, we move on to Lionel. Just wondering whether South African racing is well organised as overseas racing. Here you get a horse like Vercingetorix.
Vercingetorix.
I've always had a problem with this one, but you know what?
I know you're at. I know you're at.
Double jointed, is that the word?
Double jointed.
Dyslexia.
Well, I won't go there,
doesn't run in the best races because instead take it overseas. The big concern is that we're breeding horses in South Africa that are above average and end up racing overseas. How do we expect people to go to the race courses? The only average horses running on our biggest days.
We'll get to talk on Vercingetorix first, James. The quarantine protocols were something that went through Michael's mind, I believe.
Yeah, I think the problem was that he couldn't get the horse to Dubai in time if he didn't start making plans before the July. I think that was the problem. And this is a perennial problem, and it comes back to Racing South Africa and all the work that's been done by Peter Gibson.
We heard in May they were looking at probably lifting things.
Nothing has improved.
Okay,
And,
just before we finish in this email, James, I can see why a guy sends his horses overseas, and I would. It's massive, massive money. You're racing for the dollar, and if you've got a very, very good horse, an unbeaten horse like the one we're talking about, it makes fiscal sense to go over there. And so I don't knock any guy who's ever sent a horse overseas, but Michael had the reasons, and the reasons being quarantine issues. Am I right, James?
That's absolutely right. But we're going to take a break. We're going to be back. We've got a race meeting to run, and we'll be back with the second half of emails.
Here we are, the successful Magic Millions graduates, Royal Denise, Mia Forza, and Willow Magic. Willow Magic, very good horse. He's
ran third in the Group 1, came from last.
He's run 1, 2, 3 in Group 1s.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. He's a very, very good horse.
Very good horse.
Right, we're going to move on to the next one. Laf, Roger Scott?
Yeah, Roger Scott, that's right. Let me see what he's got to say. I don't want to read it all. It's quite a big one. He's got some pointers from Saturday. Let me just get to what he wrote down here. Yes, his gripe is basically this. He said, we're building up to the Vodacom Durban July, and he says, here we have the week to come, and they have a panel, and they haven't got a trainer or a jockey on it. He said, he doesn't want to put the boot in the guys that were on, but the powers that be, please put on the likes of Robert Bloomberg from the year before, Michael de Kock, any trainer or jockey, get them on, and not to have other people who aren't that close to the action. That's his gripe. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that, when you're putting together panels, thought should be put into it as to whether the guy is going to be informative, interesting, and more importantly, to the point as far as the summing up of races are concerned. And really, that is what you're looking for. There are guys put on these panels that really lack in all three of those departments.
He goes on to a very, very good point that I'd like to touch on as well. He said Piers Stradom had won on Kolkata on Vodacom Durban July Day, and he was interviewed and he said, I don't know if this is verbatim, the punters that watched the gallops missed the trick here because this horse galloped at Pomodoro and he put in a good gallop. He was basically saying you should have got on this horse. Yet he bought the Citizen on Saturday, especially so I could go through Striker's comments in the race, and he said, I'm riding Kolkata, but we were looking elsewhere for my PA horses. He said, what do you want to do in this race? And afterwards, you can gloat that you're so clever, and before the race, you can say, no, my horses look elsewhere. Very good point, James.
Absolutely, and Striker's on a hiding to nothing writing one of these columns, because he is a negative guy as far as his rights are concerned.
But I do like listening to Striker. When he wins a race, I always listen to him for his charges later in the day. He errs on the side of caution, but
he's very cautious.
He is cautious, but he's
but to say to look elsewhere for your place accumulator when Kolkata comes out and dodles in. And funny enough, a couple of us made it the best bet on the card.
I heard guys saying the other day, one of our leading trainers won a race and said, I told the owners it was a good thing.
Yeah.
And they said, what about later in the day we had some great runners? They said, well, they each way chances. And afterwards, he said, they were good things. He said, tell us they're good things before.
Sure.
It doesn't matter if you're wrong. If you're a trainer going out there, a pundit, if you get it wrong, it's like a lawyer. If he loses a case, he still practices law next week.
Sure. Right, next one. Tony Rhodes from, I think he's the Cape Town boy.
He's a Cape Town boy, He's an ex-Durban boy. I know Tony well.
Can we please ask Computer Form to explain the AJTPM is calculated? While studying the Mercury Sprint, notice that Contador's time for 25th of May was 0.5758. He carried 53.5 kilos. Over 1,201 and 68.21. All the Secrets on the 25th of May carried 58.5 over 1,200 and finished 3.75 lengths behind Via Africa, who won at 67.87. All the Secrets time 68.33. AJTPM for Contador 0.05758. AJTM for all the Secret 0.05770. Surely a 5 kilo difference would result in a faster time for all the Secrets. Well, what is your opinion? Well, it's very simple. This is the most interesting and useful tool in punting.
The adjusted time.
Adjusted time per minute, which they have in
Is it meter or minute?
Adjusted time per meter, per meter, yeah. And this tool is adjusted, and that's why
what you're seeing is what you get.
What you
correct.
yeah,
I hear
it's
what
not
you're saying.
it's not actual, it's adjusted, and they have a formula to adjust it, and it's very, very accurate and very, very good.
Do you follow it?
Yeah, I do, and certainly in races, big races, or races that have been run by a lot of good horses, you'll find that the best horses come up with the best adjusted time per meter
meter. You're there.
Per meter consistently, and this is a great tool. And well done for bringing it up, Tony.
Very
Roach.
well done, Tony.
It's really
Roach,
well worth
well
buying
worth it.
computer form, looking at for that.
Now, another one here, James, is from John Solani, if I spelled your name, or pronounce your name right. John goes on to say that he's a little concerned that a lot of guys are asked about their horses' efforts not being up to scratch, and they say, well, listen, it's been the inoculation period. Now, he says, if you've got a problem with the inoculation period, why run your horses? And someone must do something about it. What is your
Well, the problem is that you've got to inoculate horses at least 4 times a year. Okay, you've got to do horse sickness twice in a period of 6 months.
That's right.
And you've got to do 2 flu vaccinations.
That's
You've
right.
got to.
Yeah,
okay?
these are compulsory.
Now, that's compulsory. And the problem is that the horse sickness vaccination, the second week, the vets say to us, and they tell us that this is the way to work the horses, no work in the second week. They mustn't sweat. They mustn't be stressed.
That's when the temperature can spike.
That's the problem, because it's like a flu injection or whatever. Anyway, the problem is that some trainers work a little harder than others during this period, and horses do lose their form, because if you've had a week off, it can happen.
Can happen, yeah. So
it's
that's
a hell of a difficult problem, this, and I don't know how we can get around it, except for the jockey club saying that you have got to notify when your horses have inoculated, and it should be printed in the
Something
race card
like
that the horse was inoculated within the
There's,
last
at
month.
the moment, there's so much info out there, you're right. All right, Jim, I believe you've got a photo of me.
I know, this is very good, because this is a photo that was sent to us, and I think that you should just zoom in on it if possible. Yeah.
Who's that talking to me? Yeah,
Did you can see that you know you're a bit of a baboon.
Well, I'm a hairy sod. I can take that
hairy
part.
sod. That's why I picked you
Hairy
up.
sod. I'm
This
trying
can
to
only
think-
be Derek Martin.
Yeah, who's that? It looks like King
Looks
and
like-
the King and
Looks like the King. King Martin. He's got enough sunglasses to be DK Martin. So might be him. But let's move on. And Merle Parker has sent us a reminder that this year's Equus horse race. Now, we thought we'd better bring this up.
Yeah.
Journalist of the Year entries, and we've had this from every single one of us get this, all our journalists. The award is open to print, television, electronic meeting. For your convenience, I attach here to the Equus Committee requirements, okay? And the requirements are that we've got to enter ourselves. Now,
That's
honestly, I've told Merle Parker, and I've told the Racing Association and the Equus Awards, I'm not entering myself for any award.
Enter me, James.
I'm not an egotistical maniac, okay? And I'm not entering you either.
I agree with you.
And I think that they should pick out the journalists that they want to give the award to, and it should be a surprise like every other Equus
Correct.
award,
If-
okay? So these are the 3 journalists, invite them to your function and have a go. But don't
I
ask us
agree,
to enter
just-
ourselves.
I agree. Imagine Mollett or Thistleton or one of the guys around the country writes a great article. They should pick it up.
Sure.
And say, we really like this article, it's great, or go off one of the websites.
Robin Lowe's a perfect
Yes,
example.
there's
She
plenty of
writes some
people who are writing
fantastic
good articles, and if someone likes a TV coverage, pull it off themselves.
Okay, let's move on. George Barnes again. This
George
is
is
quite
back.
interesting. This
Yeah.
is from...
Okay, George, this is very interesting. We've got a few to go, but this is very interesting. The other day, I'm just going to get to the gist of it. The other day, 2 horses ran. And the horse was supposed to run the second. Correct me if I'm wrong here, James. The horse was supposed to run in the second race, ran in the third, and the third race ran in the second. Something to that effect.
It was the third and the fourth race.
Sorry,
actually,
there we go.
Kenilworth. Yeah,
Third and
Kenilworth.
fourth races, and the guy was fined. The trainer in question was fined for putting the wrong horses in the wrong race.
Well, he saddled the wrong 2 horses. He saddled the third horse in the fourth race and the fourth horse in the third race.
Yes.
But the question here is, trainer Andre Steyn signed an admission of guilt to the controversial Rule 38.3 in that he, as a trainer of Duchess, Rosita and Rainbow Spectrum, failed to comply with the instruction contained in the passport with regard to checking the identity of the horses. He was fined R1,000. Furthermore, the person responsible for checking the identification, now this is the point, has had serious disciplinary action taken against her.
What was it?
Well, that's the point. You know, Strain got fined R1,000, the poor muppet. He was probably got the horses mixed up or the races mixed up or someone was hucking him.
Yeah.
But there's a person that's meant to check these horses. They've got an actual machine to check it. Surely they come and they put the machine on and say, hey, this doesn't tally. They walk around with this pile of passports.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Who guards the gods, James?
Well, that's exactly right.
So
Okay,
that's-
Joe Joseph.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Joey.
this is a long one and I'm not going to go through it. Shall we move on? Yeah, we've
just,
run out of time. Paul Lafferty, was there anything else?
Yeah, just the last look at this one here. No, that was I don't think we're going to read them out, but just let you know, you can get them on the Equus Awards. All the nominees for the different categories: champion 2-year-old, champion 2-year-old filly, champion 3-year-old colt, champion right the way down to horse of the year. The judges panel who are going to give these decisions are Andrew Harrison, Patrick Davis, Robert Garner, Nick Kritziadis, Matthew Lips, Johan Malherbe, Roger Smith, Graham Hawkins, and Larry Weinstein, who is a non-voting chairperson. So go on the site and have a look who the nominees are for this, James.
Okay, Laf, we've had a wonderful set of emails, and we look forward to your comment in the near future, and we'll be doing this again soon. But from Laf and me, you have a great week's racing.
The second position, but Military goes, it's giving them a bath. That's one of the biggest millions I've ever seen. Graceful Anna, the leader. Graceful Anna. Graceful Anna.